Yo, what is going on, guys? We're back today for another video, and if you log in today, you're going to see something very weird. We have multiple ongoing Realm events right now, which is weird. It's very weird. You know, we've only ever had one Realm event at a time. These are weird how Kabam is doing it. But we have basically, essentially, a Realm event for each of the potentially buffed female champions. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over and talking about each one of these champions and why I think we should or should not vote for them. And then at the end, who I am going to be voting for. And I hope that you guys join me in voting for that champion, because I'd really love to see this champion get buffed. Like, the moment I saw all these ladies, there was just one that immediately, like, yes, that's the champion I want buffed. That's the champion I've wanted buffed for so long. So, there is a lot going on here. First and foremost, we have a male. Maybe that's a good place to start here. We have the Woman of Power event. So, greetings, summoners. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we are excited to bring in some fun challenges, rewards, and highlights from women who build and battle within the contest. Here's some of the events that will be running March 5th to March 31st. Champion rework vote. We're going to be reworking a champion's abilities and tweaking their numbers to give them a fresh kit. Stay tuned. Here's who's on the ballot and the creator or Kabammer who will be cheering them on. So up first we have Squirrel Girl for Cam Murdoch. We have MorningStar for Misty K. We have Jubilee for Dragon. We have Proxima Midnight for Royal. We have Wolverine X23 for Volatility. We have Rogue for Kabam Riri. And then we have Invisible Woman for Allison Edits. Be sure you're keeping an eye out for these magnificent creators around socials, Discords, forums, and live streams, as they will also be giving out promo codes that will be helping you vote for their champions while earning exclusive titles. And I have every single promo code for you guys in this video. And we have here Rework Ballot Tracker Realm event. So you'll find a special Women of Power rework selector attached to this message that will lock in your primary rework vote for the entirety of this event. This will trigger a special daily solo objective tailored to your choice, where rework ballots will be rewards which in turn grant milestone points to that specific champion's Realm event. These objectives will start spawning and following day after your selection. During the event, track your community and your progress through milestones and show off how hard you've been fighting for your choice. You'll also find Women of Power bonus reward special daily solo objective, which will reward you for using all of the champions listed above around the contest, which I already did. We'll claim that in a sec. These rewards will allow you to cast votes for any of the rework champions, as well as profile picks and titles. Be sure to make the most out of these solo objectives and their rewards. Not only will you be helping choose the next rework, but you'll be able to earn up to 10 times milestone rewards across the Realm event. Milestones for a total of 400 units. 10 progression tuned Nexus crystals as you fight for your favorite. Tap below to claim your free champions, as well as a special profile pick by the talented Cam Murdoch. For more information about this event and the wonderful creators and Kabammers working on it behind the scenes, be sure to tap below. So, here is all of our champions, and we're getting them as 2 and 3 stars. So I think I'm going to need to make my choice when I claim that. So we're going to hold off on claiming that for a sec. And there's this funny little profile picture as well. So let's go ahead and check out the Realm event right now, because this is going to tell us who's winning. So if we go to the very bottom, we have Proxima Midnight with 3.8 million. We have Jubilee with 2.7 million. We have Squirrel Girl with 4 million. Invisible Woman with 4.1 million. Rogue with 7.7 million. MorningStar with 4.4 million. And Wolverine X23 with 7.1 million. So right now, Rogue is ahead of the pack, clear as day. She is winning. Now, Rogue had a bit of an unfair advantage over all the rest of these ladies, and that is, you know, she has a Kabam person cheering her on, and that Kabam person was on the latest stream, and that's kind of how they announced this whole thing, and they shouted out Rogue. So it's a little biased, you know. I feel like it's all good though. Rogue is not my choice, but she is, I'd say, my number 2. So if she did win, I'd be totally fine with it. Totally fine with it. She's easily my second option, and I'd be totally chilling. But she's not my first choice. She is not my first choice. So let's go over some promo codes before we do anything else. So here are the promo codes. So for Morningstar, it's Misty Code. For Rogue, it's Rogue Best Hair. For Invisible Woman, it's Rank Up Ronin. For Jubilee, it's Dragon Horde. For X23, it's Volatility. For Squirrel Girl, it's Cat Murdoch Cache. And then for Proxima, it's Royal Ransom. So we're going to go jump over to the Kabam web store right now and try these codes out. So we should be able to use all the codes, not just one. So I'm just going to start at the top and put in Misty Code. So let me show you guys real quick. Okay, here we go. Here's Misty Code. Let's see if it works. First time trying it. Yes, it worked. So boom, we got the Morningstar bundle. Okay. So we're going to keep on putting in the rest of these promo codes. All right, let's pull it back up. And I think, let me put this above it. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, it's fine. All right, here. Let's see. What's next? We have, let me put on my caps lock. Rogue Best Hair. All right, let's try that. Yep, it worked again. Okay, pull that back up for you guys. There we go. Another one. All right, I'm just going to enter all of them real quick. Rank Up Ronin. Do this quickly here. All right, there we go. It's another one. All right, and then we got Dragon Horde. All right, it's another one. All of these are working. We have Volatility. All right, that one worked as well. I'll show you guys. There we go. All right, and then we got Cat Murdoch Cache. There we go. Another one. All right, and then last but not least, Royal Ransom. All right. That should be all of our promo codes now entered. Yes. So now we have everything. Okay. So that's probably what you're going to want to start with, just entering every single promo code. Now we have to go and get them all. So we can just do it this way. All right. There we go. So there's Morningstar. There's Rogue. There's Invisible Woman. And we're getting titles with all these as well, which is cool. Always good to get more titles. Okay, is that all of them? So that's all of them now. So, did that get me any points in these events? I'm at 13 points. Like, you need 130? Well, damn. Okay. Alright, well, let's start talking about each individual champion here. So let's pull this back up for a quick sec. Let's start with Morningstar. We'll just go in order that I have it in here. So Morningstar, dude. Morningstar is honestly a little bit surprising to me because I would say she's easily one of the best champions on this list. Morningstar, honestly, I don't think needs a buff. Not nearly as much as a lot of these other champions. Why is she invisible? Hello? The hell? Morningstar? You there? Bruh. Is every champion glitched right now? Oh, come on. It's your game. Okay, well, let's just go here and talk. All right, Morningstar. So, I was actually the first person in the world to have Morningstar. Fun fact for you guys there. She was the prize for winning 2017 New York Comic Con. I won on the very first day, which was the Thursday. So I got my hands on her before anyone else in the game. I was the very first person to ever play Morningstar on the live server, which is pretty cool. And that's how I know how good she is, because I've had her the longest, bro. And let me tell you something. You know, if Morningstar is ramped, she sucks out the gate. But once you build up her souls and ramp her, dude, she's incredible. So she has 50% perfect block always, you know, which is also what Magneto has when he's fighting against metal opponents, you know, 50% perfect block. 50% perfect block is incredible. That alone is so powerful, okay? At 5 souls, 20% chance on hit to regenerate 50% of the damage done to the opponent. This is insane regeneration. So not only do you have insane perfect block chance, you have insane regeneration once built up. It's just crazy. And then, you know, the more you build her, the special one starts to do some really, really nice damage. It deals damage based on your captured soul. So once you're at 5 captured soul, the special one starts to hit super hard. Special 2 nullifies all buffs. I remember actually using MorningStar on one of my legend runs in Act 5, actually. You know, there's I think it's the resistor node, where they alternate between building up energy resistant buffs or physical resistance buff based on the type of damage you're dealing to them. So you build up those buffs with MorningStar, and then special 2 nullify them all, deal damage, and just kill them. I got my legends run in Act 5, and I use MorningStar for that, dude. Like, MorningStar does not need a buff. She's very, very, very good already. So I don't really see the need to vote for her. She's already great, you know? Definitely takes some ramp, but bro, once she's ramped, she is insane. Definitely in the highest tier of the game of champions once she's at 5 souls. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's just a fact. Back before incursions, they were actually called dungeons. And in dungeons, MorningStar was easily one of the best dungeon champions in the game. Me and my buddy Yoooo S, we both had our MorningStars. We both won MorningStar from New York Comic Con back in the day. You know, he was the second person to ever have MorningStar. And we'd go through the dungeons with her. It was a ton of fun. She absolutely destroyed it. So I'm not voting MorningStar, and I'm not urging you guys to vote for MorningStar, because she's already pretty awesome. Honestly, very, very underappreciated champion. She does not deserve to be here when there's so many poopy champions on here that are in dire need of a buff. And the really sad part is that one of these champions already exists as a 7-star. Which is pathetic, because they're on a list to get buffed. Kabam said themselves, we're only going to release good 7-stars. Well, then why are they getting buffed? Alright, let's talk about the next one, though, which is Rogue. So Rogue, like I said, she had a bit of an unfair advantage getting the very early shout-out, and I feel like that is already showing in the day one polls. You know, she's already pulled ahead of every other champion. And I think that definitely plays a factor. I don't think it's the sole reason. I think Rogue is awesome, and I think people like Rogue, and I think they would really like to see what a 2025 Rogue kit would look like. And I can totally understand and agree with that, dude. Rogue has a very unique power set. So, like, if that could come into play on every individual fight, you know, depending on who you're fighting, that would be insane. I feel like there's no way Kabam would actually do that. But, I don't know. In 2025, you know, they've gotten so much better at making champions kits, you know. So, I would really like to see the spin on Rogue. So, she is my number 2, but she's not my number 1. So, personally, I'm not going to be voting for Rogue, but I'll call her Vogue. And it's fine, because I think she already has more than enough supporters. So let's go ahead and skip on from Rogue. Up next, we have Invisible Woman, who is the one and only champion on this list that exists as a 7-star. And fun fact, I have her as a 7-star as well. Why does she exist as a 7-star? Well, let me tell you. 1 year ago, in 2024, for the Valentine's Day event, they decided to put her into the crystal. She never existed as a 7-star before, but no, let's throw her in as a 7-star, even though she's terrible, you know. So, here's Invisible Woman. And people always say, oh, Invisible Woman, she's not that bad. She's actually good. Well, then why is she on this list to get buffed? I wonder. It must be because she sucks. Yeah, looks like we finally got to the bottom of that. Invisible Woman is by far the worst member of the Fantastic Four in Marvel Contest of Champions. And yet, she exists as a 7-star, when Torch and Mr. Fantastic do not. That's the kind of game we're playing. So, you know, Invisible Woman, she shouldn't have been a 7-star in the first place, in my humble opinion. She should have been buffed and then released as a 7-star. Not released as a 7-star, and now we have to vote for her to get a buff? No. Absolutely not. That is BS. No thanks. I'm not interested in that. No. There's no way in hell I'm voting Invisible Woman. She shouldn't have been a 7-star in the first place. It honestly pissed me off when they just put her as a 7-star, when they shouldn't have, when she was not good enough to be one in the first place. So, for those reasons, I'm not voting Invisible Woman. And honestly, the science class does not need the help. So that's another reason why I'm not voting Invisible Woman. Yeah, there's also, you know, a Fantastic Four movie coming out this year. Kabam, why don't you buff her for the movie? You know, do a thematic tie-in buff. Do that. I'm not voting for that. Absolutely not. All right, let's move on from Invisible Woman. We got Jubilee up next. So I remember when Jubilee came out, man. You know, I remember what I said was, if she had come out as a skill champion, like when she had come out, if she was released as a skill champion, I think she actually would have done good. Why do I keep doing the same thing? Let's just leave it like that. But yeah, I think if Jubilee, when she came out, if she was a skill champion, I feel like she would have been a lot more loved and used and would have had some more time to shine. I don't think she'd still be that relevant today. You know, she's been out for a while. But at the time, you know, the skill class needed help and the mutant class did not. And she just didn't really offer anything in the mutant class that other champions couldn't do. You know, she had some interesting things, but none of them made her that good. And I was never a fan of Jubilee until I actually started watching the X-Men. You know, I watched the original X-Men series, the entire thing, in preparation to watch X-Men 97. And I'm so glad that I did. X-Men 97, it absolutely knocked my socks off. I was not expecting to be that good. And I wasn't expecting the original X-Men cartoon to be as good as it was either. So I liked, Jubilee grew on me as a character from watching that show and X-Men 97. So I like her more now today, but still, I don't know. She just doesn't seem that exciting to me personally. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just way cooler champions here than Jubilee for me, and especially with the mutants, you know, Rogue and X-23 both, I think, are just much and way cooler mutants. So like she is just kind of dead last here in the mutants for me. You know, I feel like it would have been cooler if there was there's 7 champions. I feel like it would have made more sense for there to be 6 and for it to be one of each class, you know. But instead of that, we got, you know, 3 mutants, no tech champs. Like, I don't know. So it's a bit weird because it's tough when you have to choose between multiple champs in a class, you know. And I feel like Jubilee is just the least pick of the 3 mutants. And I mean, that's not wrong. It's a fact. Jubilee's at 2.8. Wolverine, X-23, and Rogue are both. Rogue's at 8 million now. Just during the video, she jumped to 8 million. And Wolverine X-23 is at 7.4 million. So Jubilee stands no chance, essentially, dude. So, yeah. All right, let's move on from Jubilee. We got X-23. So, yes. X-23 is the one, dude. That's who I'm voting for. That's my pick. Maybe let's circle back to her. Let's talk about the LG champs first. We have Squirrel Girl. Let's talk about her a little bit. We also have some graphics. We got this from Misty K. Misty Code. I couldn't let a Mystic not be my champion of choice, and it's a Kabam original. She deserves more respect since her story is still left untold after all these years. Is her story left untold? Because I thought the being in MorningStar is now just in purgatory. Or is that not? Or is purgatory guillotine now? I don't know, actually. It's confusing. There's a lot. Alright, but that's what Misty K said. Dragon said, it's time to celebrate International Women's Day. I'm the advocate for the Jubilee rework, and you can vote for the Sparkly Lady. Deserves an update and a buff. Not to mention, if you're supporting our champion, you can still get extra Jube votes with the promo code Dragon Horde, which we already got. And Cat Murdoch made this for Squirrel Girl. 7-star skill class needs more strong attackers, which is true. But we got Mr. Knight coming. We already did the due diligence. We voted for him, you know. We already got our skill base covered later this year with Mr. Knight. Squirrel Girl, you know, I remember when Squirrel Girl was first getting added, and I didn't really know too much about her. And I did a little bit of research, and I find out she's kind of like a meme character, and she can she beat Thanos in the comics. And I was, wait, what? Like a gag character. She beat Thanos, you know? So I was like, okay, well, she must be very powerful when she gets added in the game. And then she got added in the game, and I remember testing her, and I remember thinking she like is okay. I remember testing her at max Sig, at Sig 200. It's not bad. The damage is actually decent, but if you're not max Sig, it's not the greatest. And I don't know. I've just never really found Squirrel Girl that cool or interesting. Um, she's my very last fight in AQ, so I've been fighting her for a long time. I don't know. It's just Tippy is kind of cute and kind of cool and kind of funny, but I don't think it's enough for me to want to vote for her. Um, yeah, I don't know. Squirrel Girl. There's just so many other skill champions. So let me list a few that I would want to see buff before Squirrel Girl. Punisher. I would love, like, if Punisher was reworked and they made him look more like the MCU Punisher, like John Bernthal. Oh my god, that'd be so sick. And buff him. Make him sick. Punisher, I'd love to see a buff on. Elektra, I'd love to see a buff on. Winter Soldier. You know, people regard Captain America the Winter Soldier as like one of the best MCU movies ever. Love to see Winter Soldier, the biggest punching bag in the game. Get some respect. Taskmaster. Would love a sick Taskmaster buff. Daredevil. Both Daredevils. Gwenpool. Ronin. You know, one of the very few champion releases we got for Avengers Endgame. And it was this guy. Like, are you kidding me? The biggest MCU movie of all time. And we got Ronin? Like, dude. Agent Venom? Oh, Agent Venom. Moon Knight? Regular Daredevil? Like, there's a lot of skill champions I would want to see buff before Squirrel Girl, personally. Just so many. And even, like, females. Like, Elektra. Elektra deserves it so much more than Squirrel Girl does, in my opinion. You know, Elektra has been around for so long. We got multiple Black Widows in game. You know, show Elektra some love, kabam. Squirrel Girl, though, for me, nah. Nah, I'm good. And that leaves us, last but not least, Royal Ransom for Proxima. Now, Proxima is another one, like MorningStar, that I feel like really does not need a buff compared to these other champions. You know, MorningStar came out alongside Corvus Glaive. And when they both came out, Proxima was getting more hype, was getting more attention, was getting more clicks. I was actually taking a break from the game when both of those champions came out. So, I wasn't around. But, like, what I've heard from the lore of that time is, like, all the content creators were just going hard on the Proxima Midnight content. And no one really cared about Corvus. And the Proxima Midnight content was just going crazy. And now, all this time later, Proxima is on a list to get buffed, which is just the craziest 180 and downfall possible. Like, from your release overshadowing one of the most broken champions in the history of the game to now being on a list to get buffed. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You know, and Proxima's biggest issue is just that she requires a lot of ramp and build up. And the biggest issue, I feel like, is that you can't take that from fight to fight. You have to build it up every single time in each fight. Now I'm not saying Proxima should be able to go completely ramped one fight forever for the rest of the quest. But it would be nice to take some of that ramp with you. You know, you have, like, I think 3 missions you need to complete with Proxima to fully ramp her. You know, if you already ramped her in a fight, maybe you could just carry one mission forward or something. You know, that'd be cool. But I don't think we should be spending a whole event voting for Proxima just for that. Like, no. There are so many champions that need this more. And so let's talk about the champion I think that needs it the most and that deserves it the most. And that is Wolverine X23. That's my girl right there, bro. Wolverine X23. I remember when Carnage came out. Now, Carnage sucks, I think. You know, I think he needs a big crazy buff too. But I remember when Carnage first came out, and I had one of my most wanted champions added to the game. And I remember before I knew anything about him, actually, like, the idea I had in mind for him as a champion was two main things that I wanted to see. And it was just straight from X23. The two things that I wanted Carnage to have was bleeds, really good bleeds and bleed damage, and then regen, like X23. You know, that's what X23 has. She can bleed really well. Well, at least they have a cap, which kind of sucks. But she can bleed decently well, and she can regen pretty well. And that's just those are the two main things I wanted Carnage to have. Of course, other stuff too, but I just want him to have that. Carnage has no regeneration at all. He's supposed to be the advanced symbiote, you know, above Venom, spawned from Venom, and he doesn't regen. Why doesn't Carnage regen? That always bugged me. But like that was the building blocks of one of my favorite champions being added to the game. Carnage was just X23's bleed and regen. And I'll never forget that. You know, there's two main things I wanted to have, and two main things that X23 did so good. And this is so many years ago, and still X23 remains absolutely untouched. There's never been another female X23 added to the game. You know, we recently had, we had Logan. That movie was great. We got to see Child X23, you know, and then in the recent movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, we got to see her again with the sunglasses. She literally 1v1 Juggernaut, not the real Juggernaut, the Fox Juggernaut, but she still destroyed that Juggernaut. That was sick. That was honestly a very impressive feat for X23. That's an insane feat. Like, I'm really into power scaling, and for her to take down Juggernaut like that, it's insane. Really, really badass moment for her. She was low-key one of my favorites in that movie. I already love Wolverine, you know, and I really want regular Wolverine to get a buff. But we don't have that option here, but we do have the option for X23, dude. And I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste this opportunity. This is a golden opportunity for Wolverine X23 to become so sick, dude. To become so sick. You know, we recently got some Wolverine X23 love, and, you know, in Act 9, Act 9, with the Orochi boss here. You know, that was cool, but give us a real buff X23, man. I want to see it so bad. I think she really deserves it the most. I think X23 and Rogue deserve it the most. And I'm happy because those are the two champions that are currently winning. X23 is in second. But I'm hoping after this video we can rally the boys, get some more votes for her. But it's close, man. Rogue's at 8 million, Wolverine X23 at 7, almost 7.5 million. She's not that far behind. And I still haven't claimed this. So let's claim this. And we're going to pick up our ballots for X23 immediately. We're going all in on X23 right there. 160. Boom. Nice. Okay. And then we also have this objective to claim. This is just doing 5 fights with those female champions. And then, ooh, these profile pics, they're kind of cool. Okay. What's the X23 one? That's kind of cool. I like that. Rogue one's decent. Ooh, I kind of like the Invisible Woman one. She's got like the piece. That's kind of neat. Skill issue, Queen of Mean, X23 and Me, Emissary of the Black Order, Keep Calm and Sparkle On, Queen of Langura, and Power of a Million Squirrels. I don't think X23 has the best profile pick or the best title, but it doesn't matter. We're voting for her, bro. And the profile pick is still kind of cool, so there we go. Get our votes in, and then we should be able to get some units as well now. So, yeah, that gets us some units. We'll take that. And then we got a crystal. It's a Cavalier Nexus Women of Power crystal. A Cavalier crystal? Really? Does the crystals get better at least? No. What? What? Can't put a 7-star Nexus or something as the final milestone? Cavalier Nexus? Dude. Why? Why? Alright, well, let's open up our Cavalier Nexus crystal. Oh, wow. Look at that. A 6-star Ironheart. We just won the jackpot, guys. We got a 6-star. Woohoo! All right, that is gonna go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Before we end it, let's go ahead and put on that X23 profile picture real quick. Oh, that new Daredevil one's kind of cool as well. X23, where are you? Here we go. Ooh, that actually looks that looks really good with the Mythic, actually. Dude, that goes hard. That goes pretty hard. Damn, okay. Alright, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Just my thoughts on all of these 7 individual female champions. You know, don't let my thoughts dictate what you do. But, you know, if you agree with the X23 train, you know, hop on all aboard. I'm the conductor of this train. Chugga chugga choo choo. Let's vote for X23. If you're on Team Rogue, hey man, it's all good. I completely respect that. And if you just want to vote for one of these other champions, completely respect that too. Vote for whoever you want. But personally, I would just really, really love to see X23 get the love she deserves. But honestly, I think Rogue deserves it too. So if either one wins, man, I'm winning. So I'm happy that those are the 2 that are in the lead. And yeah, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if so. Leave me a comment who you're voting for and why. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, consider joining the Leg Army. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all have a great, wonderful day. Good luck. Peace out. Bye.